Welcome to the DoubleACS Daily News. Children's author Elinor Teele recently stopped by An Unlikely Story to talk about her new book. We spoke with her to learn more about her presentation.
I am Elinor Teele, and I am standing in Bookney Land, as I call it, but it is known as An Unlikely Story in Plainville, Massachusetts. It is one of the best bookstores in the world. And they invited me here today on a somewhat murky Saturday in September to read from my new book, which is called The Treasure of Mad Doc Magee. And it is set in central Otago, New Zealand. I set it there because my parents live there now, as does my younger brother with his wife. And it is a place very near and dear to my heart. It is a gorgeous valley surrounded by mountains all around. It's the same place where they filmed Lord of the Rings. So if anyone's seen that film, they'll recognize the landscape immediately. But what most people don't know who aren't from New Zealand is that Central Otago had a gold rush. Just like San Francisco, Alaska, Australia, the west coast of New Zealand, Otago had about 3 years where half the world descended on it and went searching for gold. So that is the kernel or the nugget which I took to start off this treasure hunt. The thing about this story, though, is it's not set in the gold rush. It's set about 12 years after it. And that's when Jenny, who is this girl right here, and Pandora have grown up, and they're now facing a crisis. The crisis, of course, is that Jenny's father, whose name is Hapless, has decided that they're going to have to leave town. In fact, he's been fired. So Jenny is desperate to stay. This is her home. She feels as rooted to the mountains as a plant would be in a garden, and she's not going to leave. So the entire plot revolves around Jenny's quest with her best friend Pandora to find the largest gold nugget in existence. And then all their problems will be solved. You know, it's funny, I have written 2 that have been published. The first one is The Mechanical Mind of John Coggan with Walden Pond Press, which is a division of HarperCollins. But if you're going to ask me how many books have I written that haven't been published, I would probably say about 10 or 12. That's the reality of a writer. You spend a lot of time working, climbing the mountain. For books, it's primarily about children, especially in the middle grades. I remember that time very well, the time when you're 8 to 12 years old. I always thought it was one of the better times to be a kid. You haven't really hit high school, you've gone past the early grades of elementary, and you know who you are. So when I'm writing about those characters, I feel like they can really express who they are and what they want to do and who they want to be. But I have also write other things. I write plays and I write screenplays and poems. So for that audience, I tend to skew towards the adult realm. It gives me a bit of a break and it stretches my brain somewhere else. I am about a third of a way through a new book for girls. It's written for my goddaughter, and she is helping me along the way, which is an incredible boon. She's a very savvy editor, my goddaughter, but she knows and I know that at this moment I am somewhere in writer's block. I'm not exactly stuck, you know, I can move my feet, but boy is it muddy at the moment. So I just need to get past the mud pit and then I can charge on into the next part of the book. I love this area. I love this bookstore. I remember walking in the first time when I came down for Coggan, and it was full of people, and not just in the cafe, the entire place where all the books were was swarming with families, adults, older people, babies, younger people, and the displays and the amount of books on offer was just gobsmacking to me. And I was so thrilled to see that people were still reading and still supporting independent businesses.
That's it for today's update. You can watch all of our content by visiting our website, DoubleACS.com, by downloading the DoubleACS mobile app, or by visiting the DoubleACS Roku channel. For DoubleACS News, I'm Austin Ricketts.